My name is Jacqueline Oliver, and I will be presenting my population level health education intervention presentation. According to the CDC, the United States childhood obesity has more than tripled since the 1970s. Nearly 1 out of 5 school-aged children are obese. I performed my windshield survey here at the city of Montclair, California, in the county of San Bernardino. The incidence of overweight and obesity in Montclair is 43.9%. And the childhood obesity and sedentary lifestyle are more likely to lead to adult obesity and complications of premature death. I performed my presentation at the Montclair Expanded Learning Program at Kingsley Elementary. The background significance is there is a high incidence of child obesity in this city, predominantly Hispanic and Latino families live here, and they have a higher rate of obesity. This can lead, like I said, to premature death and health complications. My Healthy People 2020 objectives my interventions are to meet are reduce the proportion of children and adolescents ages 12 to 19 who are obese, increase the proportion of adolescents who participate in extracurricular and or out of school activities. There are many factors. I understand that of obesity, such as genetic factors, but these are environmental ones that can be modified. My needs assessment was done by the windshield survey, where I went out into the community and did observation of the community, spoke to community stakeholders, and also I did research using resources of the Healthy People 2020 and using the Center of Disease Control. Also, where I found information that the population does have low-level high school graduates, low health literacy, and lacks financial resources as evidenced by the poverty level and the low-income families. Theoretical framework I used was Lawrence Green's Proceed model. This model consists of 8 phases. The first 4 are planning, then implementing, and the 3 stages of evaluation. This model is ideal for community health promotion and public health intervention because this model is guided by first going out into the community, doing observations, observing what the community needs, and then determining how to prevent that problem from occurring, not simply just treating the issues. Issues were behaviors such as making healthy choices within the means of the children is difficult because it is within the means of the family unit that they live in. So parents usually, some families are more driven by financial means, not by nutritional value of the foods. In order to help with new behavior, you have to create motivation. So my intervention issues were teaching about the need for change by showing that there is a problem in the community, and then creating motivation. Also, resources that I used were sharing the choosemyplate.gov and how they can get recipes for low cost but healthy recipes that they can use at home. I provided this in English and in Spanish for the students because sometimes families, they did not speak English at home. So, and also information about a community farm that sold low-priced leafy greens and offered, if they wanted to pay for a plot, a $30 annual fee. Interventions, I use educational techniques for this specific age group, 10 to 12 years old, including a PowerPoint presentation that had diagrams and pictures to help deliver the information. in a captivating way for the students, and they were actually very enthusiastic about the program, about the PowerPoint, and it addressed my Healthy People 2020 goals. Each student was given a placemat of their own that allowed them to take notes and draw in the pictures of the food groups. I also, in my presentation, included the different food groups. One of them, for example, the protein food group, I made sure that the students received plant and animal-based protein, because some families are vegetarians, so they don't eat meat. But I wanted to show that there are very high, there's high protein in soybeans and other plant products as well. The students were able to answer two foods of each food group that either they enjoyed or that they would be willing to try. And then later they were able to draw in their pictures. To test the effectiveness of my lecture, I also provided quizzes that discussed how to avoid excess sodium and sugar. Here, the students, more than 60% of the students were able to answer my questions correctly, choosing fresh greens or fresh fruits over canned or preserved fruits to avoid the excess sodium and sugar. And also, we discussed how though they may not have those options, because canned green beans or canned vegetables may not always, may be the only thing their family has at home, that they can rinse these items to make them healthier, to avoid that excess sodium, salt, and sugar. Here, my intervention was for activity. The students were able to write out how many hours of activity they should have, which was 1 or more hours, and you spend 2 or less hours on a sedentary activity such as using their tablet, phone, computer, or computer games. I also had the students write why they thought activity was important and the benefits of it. One student wrote, "I like to play basketball and volleyball at school. It's important because you get strong and it keeps diabetes away. I can live longer when you get older." Budget and logistics. I spent under $50 for my products, such as paper and ink. Also, the ChooseMyPlate.gov placemats, which the students really, I felt, was beneficial because they followed along, keeping in their notes in the correct boxes, in the correct categories. It was difficult to schedule around the students' regimen of the extended learning program. There was no cost in the salaries involved otherwise. The project evaluation outcome, I measured this by it was successful that over 60% of the students were able to state 2 healthy foods of each food group, and they made healthier choices over fresh foods and preserved foods. Also, my post-intervention, 60% of students were able to list 2 favorite physical activities and the benefits of increasing activities over sedentary like activities. Long-term goals was to reduce the proportion of students and adolescents obesity. My results and conclusions. The participants exceeded my goal of 60% or more, would correctly identify healthy food choices, and verbalize the recommended goal of physical activities and benefits. The weakness of the project, students were very talkative. They were kind of disrespectful to other students when they were answering sometimes. So that was, I had to referee a little bit of that. But I think that parents and families should also be involved in this teaching, because the family unit is so important in the student's life, and their choices and availability of foods at home. Problems encountered, like I said, it was difficult making contact with the leader of the program because of just different hours and when they're inside the classroom or not. So it was difficult to make these arrangements and times that I can have the classroom's attention. Also, there was some pushback from some students who were not wanting to learn at the time, but eventually came around because they were interested in what I had to say. Suggestions for the future projects, I really think that it would benefit from having parent presence and teaching the family unit and keeping teaching the family as a unit, because that is the child's lifestyle at home, and also keeping them respectful of others in the home. I'm sorry, respectful of others in the classroom. These are my references.